guys, my name is Wedo. I am with Nigerian Vegetables and Jollof Gold, and today I'm going to be telling you about some Nigerian vegetables that I grow in my small garden in North America. So my actual location is Canada, and I've grown vegetables at home, like Nigerian vegetables at home, for about 7 to 8 years. Since I got my first house and I had my first garden, I've been growing Nigerian vegetables. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the vegetables that I grow and when I start them, because some vegetables they need a longer growing season, so you have to start them indoors, and then the ones that you can actually direct sow outside as well. I'll also tell you, if you're like, a beginner gardener, the ones that are easy peasy, you can pretty much just leave them and go, and the ones that really need a lot of attention that you can't just leave and go. So I'm going to start with basic vegetables, and the first one I'm going to be talking about is a Wedo. So a Wedo is also called jute leaf, and this is the vegetable that Yoruba people will typically use to cook a Wedo soup, which is served with abola. If you know fresh Wedo, there's really nothing that comes close to fresh Wedo. Fresh Wedo really is very easy, so it will be on my list of like the vegetables that are super easy to grow. And honestly, you just sprinkle it on really good soil and water it often, and it will germinate. So this is a vegetable that needs really hot weather, so it's not something that you can start in, say, April. For example, you have to wait until at least 2 weeks after the last frost, and depending on your location, you can just Google last frost date plus location, and Google will tell you when your last frost date is. So this is a vegetable that you want to start at least 2 weeks after your last frost. So I would typically start this in June, and typically by end of July I have a Wedo to start using in my house. So this is easy peasy vegetable to grow. Okay, so the next one is a Forte. This is another vegetable. If you grew up in Lagos, you probably called it greens. It's just, you just call it greens, right? So it's amaranth greens, and this is a vegetable that again we use to cook soups like a foriro specifically. You can use it in a lot of like other dishes as well, but it's mainly used to cook a foriro. Again, this is something that you want to grow when it's hot outside. So this is another one that I direct, so you don't have to start it indoors because it doesn't take that long to grow. If you start it within 8 weeks, you have vegetables to harvest. So this is another one that you can definitely start out, and it doesn't really require a lot of attention or a lot of like tending if you're just starting out. So I would highly recommend growing a Forte, and you can grow enough to actually save for your winter months as well. Okay. So the next one that I have is a Oshoko. We call this Lagos spinach. It's kind of like the English term, but it's just called shoko or Oshoko. It's mainly used again for like stir fries and like foriro. And just like the other two that I kind of mentioned, this one direct sow outside 2 weeks after the last frost. I would say that May, June would be what I would recommend, but again 2 weeks after your last frost date. It requires a lot of heat, so you want to direct sow it outside. You don't have to start it inside because it doesn't take too long to grow. Definitely a good beginner vegetable if you're new to gardening. Another vegetable that I've grown, actually this would be my second year growing scent leaf. What I found with my scent leaf last year was that it was kind of like slow growing. So this is one that you want to start inside about 8 weeks before your last frost date. So I'll do another video on kind of like starting vegetables indoor, but this is one that you want to start inside about 8 weeks, just because it takes a little bit of time to grow, because we scent leaf tend to use a little bit of it, so you want to have ample time for it to grow. So start your scent leaf indoors at least 8 weeks before your last frost date. Well, I'll say medium ease. Like once you kind of start it and then you put it outdoors for a while and then you transfer it into your garden, it doesn't really require a lot of attention, but the time it takes to get to that time would be a little bit of time investment. So that's why I'll put it in medium. And then Niger hot peppers. So this year I'm actually growing lots and lots of different varieties of pepper. This is atarodo or Scotch bonnet or habanero. I don't know, we have like a mixed variety in Nigeria, but that's what this is. But I'm also growing some tatashe, I'm growing shombo, I'm growing atawewe. What else am I growing this year? I'm growing some yellow habanero. I'm growing lots and lots of peppers in my garden this year just because I love fresh. Like the scent of Niger pepper is different than what you will find in this part of the world. So this is something again that you want to start indoors because it requires especially if you want it to like ripen on the vine, because it requires a long growing season. You want to start it inside, so you want to start it at least 8 weeks. I know I belong to like gardening groups where people start their peppers in January for them to transplant outside in May, June, and then for them to start harvesting in like August, September. So you want to start peppers as early as possible. This year is actually my first year where I got a grow light. So my experience with grow light, I think I'm still a little bit skeptical in terms of like the benefit of it. So I'll probably try again next year, just trying to see how much better it makes my plants, how much faster they grow. But again, you do not need a grow light. I have been planting peppers now for about 6 years. I have never used a grow light, but you definitely want to start your peppers as early as possible, just because they require at least 6 to 7 months from the time you plant the seed to the time you start harvesting your peppers. So those are some of the vegetables that are easy to grow in North America. This year I'm also growing some garden eggs. I did grow some garden eggs last year and we really enjoyed it. So this year we're growing 3 varieties of garden eggs, and that is something that you want to start indoors as well. So this year I have the green garden eggs. I especially want the leaves to make abacha, to serve with abacha. I'm looking forward to that. I also have like the white one, which is like the white oblong variety, and I also have like the multicolor, you know, the one that's kind of like yellow and it has like a brown vein on it. So those are a few of the things that I'm growing in my garden this year. So if you're looking to start a garden and you're looking for some seeds, you can get them from jollofcode.com. So that is JOLLOFCODE.com, and typically shipping is to North America. These are like authentic Nigerian seeds. If you have any questions about growing, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will try as much as I can to provide some insight based on my personal experience. Alright guys, thank you for watching.